That's right! Welcome to the side of the ring because it's time for Ringside. Got a bunch of news lined up for you, ladies and gentlemen, so without further ado, we're just gonna jump straight into it! Even though The Rock vs. Roman Reigns is no longer planned for WrestleMania 40, the Wrestling Observer newsletter says, quote, the idea from a company standpoint is that match will happen at some point down the line. This is why I said you should have just done it at Elimination Chamber. This is why I said, okay? Because apparently they weren't at Elimination Chamber, they're gonna be at Mania. I don't even know if Rock and or Roman are still not going to be scheduled for Backlash, because you remember, that's what they said. They said Roman wasn't going to be at Backlash or Elimination Chamber. So, man, CM Punk really threw a wrench in the works, huh? I mean, it really depends on how they feel, to be totally honest with you, and what direction that they want to go in, right? Because, obviously, they were willing to upend the entire storyline that Cody Rhodes was going on by himself, that they created. And if they were willing to do that, then I don't see why it would be so difficult for them to just, uproot something and put something else in place of it, Not saying that that's what I think that they should do, because that doesn't really seem to help anything, really, right? But, I guess if that's something that you have to do, then fine. Maybe go for a storyline that nobody seems to really be too interested in, or is already on the way of... Maybe don't do that at all, I don't know. I don't understand why you went in front of Cody like that, and if that's something that you're willing to do, I don't understand why you can't just figure something else out, in place of that, right? I don't see why you can't have Rock Roman at Backlash, for the head of the table, because, again, I feel like I've said this already, it doesn't have to be for the championship, which I'm hoping that it's not, which I think it is. Initially, I think that's what the match was going to be for, and... man, why would you do all that for The Rock to lose? You know what I mean? Like, no, I mean, not Roman. Why would you do all that for Roman to lose? And for The Rock to be running around with the championship when it should really be with Cody. So, all in all, I think that they have the ability to do the match whenever they want to, and they think that they need to do it on a grand stage, and that's unnecessary. I personally feel like you don't have to do it on a grand stage. Yes, it's a big match, and yes, a grand stage would help, but I don't see what the big deal is of having a bunch of people run over to buy Backlash or something. I thought last year's Backlash was great. I don't see what the big deal is of putting a major match on like a B pay-per-view, if that's what you want to call it. They are perfectly capable of doing something like that, and I don't see why they don't. And Backlash is probably the next best pay-per-view, because after that, we're just back to square one again, where the rivalry is just taking way too long to finish. So, if anywhere, I think it should be Backlash. Sticking with Wrestling Observer, Brian Alvarez said on Wrestling Observer Radio that while Finn Balor was selling his thumb quite a bit and was legitimately bleeding, he's okay and didn't suffer any injury at Elimination Chamber. Shout out to Finn. Good to know he's not hurt, and hopefully his thumb makes a speedy recovery. I don't think that is the injury that everybody's talking about coming out of Elimination Chamber. I think I speak for everyone when I say that I am very worried about Randy Orton and his back, and hopefully it definitely did not look good. It didn't look good. You can be as optimistic as you want. Randy looked like he wanted to kill himself. He looked like he wanted to jump off a bridge. He did not look like he was having a good time. Okay? So, the hope is that, maybe just extended a muscle just a little bit too much. Hopefully the injury isn't too serious. Okay? Apparently it happened when he DDT'd Kevin Owens, and that was pretty much the beginning of the end. Massive respect for him for carrying out the rest of the match, and even carrying out the Logan Paul angle as well, and doing all those RKOs and getting dropped on his back. Every time he got dropped on his back, he looked like he wanted to recite the Bible in Latin. He did not look very happy. So, again, very sorry about Finn. I am. As long as his thumb is good, and it's not like, what was it? I think it was Dax, where he cut his arm open on the turnbuckle. Like, hopefully it's not like that, where it's super deep and it's serious and whatnot, right? But yeah, man, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a little bit more worried about Randy Orton, because there's a potential chance that he could have to retire just because of how serious the injury could potentially be. Because you don't mess around with your back, your neck, your ankles, your head. Those are very serious, right? So, there's not really much else to say, because as of right now, nothing has really come out about it. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's just, he's taken all that time to recover and stuff like that, and really analyze it and see what really is going on deep down in the tissue and what have you. So we're just going to have to wait and see what he says. Moving right along, they also said on Wrestling Observer Radio that Raquel Rodriguez was, quote, touch and go for the Women's Elimination Chamber match due to her MCAS flare-up on the flight over. There was apparently a practice match in Australia, and she didn't participate in it. So for those of you who don't know, MCAS it can really just be summed up as allergies, and there's like there's like mast cells, I guess, and like proteins in the air or whatever attach themselves to the cell. You gotta look it up. You gotta look up MCAS. The crux of it is allergies. So it doesn't sound horribly deathly serious, which is good. As someone who does suffer from allergies, I understand, having that happen to you and then possibly not being able to practice. My allergies and her allergies might be different though, because it's like lactose intolerance. Like somebody might just be poopy a lot, but someone might be in like legitimate like pain and have to actually go to the hospital. And I didn't know that. I didn't know there were differing tiers of lactose intolerance. So with that being said, there might be differing tiers of allergies, of having allergies, and how you react to them, and what have you, right? So I can't sit here and be like, oh, I know how she feels. I don't know how she feels. Hopefully, that's why I said hopefully it's nothing. It doesn't sound, because it's allergies. Allergies don't kill you, Well, they do. But I'm just, not food allergies. Not food allergies. I don't go outside and pollen just fly up my nose and then I die, right? That's what I'm talking about. So hopefully it's not like that. Hopefully it's not like super serious and it's like, affecting like her health and everything like that. Hopefully it's just, she's just run out of napkins and nobody wants to, go near her because, she's got a couple boogies hanging around. That's all I'm saying, right? I don't know what it is. I know what MCAS is, but like I don't know the specifics of what's going on with her. So hopefully we'll see her, on SmackDown and her nose will be clean and not like red, because when you like rub it a bunch and it gets red. So hopefully that's not happening, right? So again, good thing it's not like super serious and health threatening, right? So hopefully she makes a speedy and clean nose recovery. Next, according to Fightful Select, original plans call for Bronson Reed to challenge Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship at Elimination Chamber, but said plans were scrapped when Rollins injured his knee. That's a match you could definitely do down the line. I think that match would have been incredible, and it would have been a great rub for Bronson Reed. And it sucks that we didn't get it, right? But we still are getting Drew versus Rollins, which I think is still going to be a great match. And I think that, well, I don't know. Because is Drew winning the title at WrestleMania? I don't know. If he does, either way, I would still like to see Bronson Reed be put into that, room. Just outright. Because I feel like he deserves it. And, I think that he also would put on a great match with Drew McIntyre. I'm basically just trying to say that I love Bronson Reed, and as I itch my eye, I think that he should be hovering around whatever world title is, up for grabs at the moment. And I like what they've been doing with him so far. He's been a very formidable opponent. He's not been running around like an idiot. He's giving Bobby Lashley vibes where he's just like this big impending force, but that's also like really like, clean and like proper and all that sort of stuff, So I don't know when they are potentially going to do that down the. They may never go. This is the thing. They may never go back to it ever again. It may be the biggest what if, right? So I personally would like to see Bronson Reed in a World Heavyweight Championship matchup, but that's just me. So if it's something that we do get, then great. And if not, then oh well. Next, the Wrestling Observer newsletter says they had a WWE star note to them that, quote, a lot of news reporters have contacted female talent in the company to ask them about potential abuse. I understand why, right? It's like the health inspector. You don't want to just immediately assume that they're selling human meat, right? Or they've got like a mouse as a pet in a little box, There's a lot. Or like a speakeasy. You want to make sure they're not doing that. I was trying to do Bob's Burgers references, but I don't remember all the episodes. All I remember is the human meat episode. And then there was the one where they had a mouse, and they put like a little table and a little chair in the little box, right? And then there was one where he was running a speakeasy where he was selling beer. And then there was one, no, that was the human meat episode. Never mind. Because then Mort, I think it was like Mort or someone pushed the coffin. Either way, okay. Man, why did I start? I understand why you're doing it. You want to make sure everybody's safe. Nobody's obviously going to run around and start screaming about it, for many a different reason. So you want to go in there, knock on a couple walls, make sure the studs are still in place. I completely understand that. No one's going to come out and outright tell you. So you got to go around and check for yourself, right? That's a good idea. I think that surprise random check-ins like that really will go a long way, and I think that that's something that, I mean, okay, to say that only WWE's doing it, very naive. I hope WWE is not the only one doing it. This is the first time that I personally have heard WWE doing something like this. So with that being said, I'm all for this. I want something like this to happen more often because, you know, again, very helpful, right? To whoever could potentially be needing this resource, if you will, right? So not much to say because at least for right now, as far as I'm reading, nothing has come out, right? So you almost kind of don't want to hear anything, almost. Right? It's like a car. You almost don't want the lights to come on. But then when they do, you're like, okay, well, I'm glad they did because now I know. So, you know, kind of, sort of, hopefully nothing comes from this. But if it does, we'll know about it immediately and it will be taken care of. So that's the hope, at least. What are we talking about? All right, so Rock Roman, when is it going to happen? I don't 100% know. I think that if you're going to do it at Backlash. Don't wait too long. And if you were going to do it at Mania, fine. My argument was not Mania. My argument was what you were doing, you know, to get to the match at Mania. For Cody to win the Rumble and have a whole storyline in place, and then for Rock to literally just sidestep his way in, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So if you're going to do it, I think doing it at Backlash is the best way to go. Finn Balor sold his thumb, legitimately bleeding. He's okay. Randy, I don't 100% know about him specifically, so hopefully, put your hands in the air and give him your energy. Hopefully he's good and his back isn't too injured. Raquel was touch and go. Listen, I have allergies. I do. Maybe not as severe as Raquel, but I know the experience of allergies. I have experience with allergies. So I feel her pain. I don't feel all of it, but I feel some of it. Hopefully it's not as serious, and hopefully she'll be good in time for SmackDown. Bronson Reed was going to challenge Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. I think you could and should still do that. I don't know if you are going to still do that if Drew ends up winning. Even if Drew does end up winning at WrestleMania, I think you should have Drew and Bronson because I think that'll be a great match, and I think that'll be a good start to the title run. Right? I just want Bronson Reed somewhere around this. Okay, to not have him included just feels kind of dumb. Okay. Wrestling Observer News Center said they had a WWE star note to them. A lot of news reporters have contacted female talent in the company about potential abuse. Good. Not the abuse thing. Good that you're going out, right? Sending out reconnaissance and field reporters to be like, hey, what the hell's going on here? Is everything okay? You know, are you sure everything's okay? You want that? That's exactly what you want, right? Whoever protests, you know, you should probably keep an eye on them, right? Now, like I said, hopefully you don't want to find anything, but if you do, then that's good, because you got it, and now it's out of the way. And finally, PWE on CM Punk being added to WWE 2K24, quote, I was told a few weeks ago he might make it in a late DLC. Great. Shout out to him. Can't wait to see him in the DLC, and hopefully 2K24 is really good. Folks, that's going to do it for this episode. Hopefully everybody has a wonderful tonight and a wonderful tomorrow, and as always, big hugs. Big hugs all around.